They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending...
Quick little disclaimer before we get started. I'm using Atlas for actually two reasons, not just one. And the reasons that is most important is that there must be no input from the Warframe. This isn't a Warframe review, this is a weapon review, and CC counts as input. That's why it's Atlas and not Revenant. Second thing is this. I don't want to get knocked down, so Revenant is my AoE thing. However you get rid of knockdown is up to you, but this is the weapon without the knockdown, as like literally the only thing that I have any input on besides the build of the Warframe. Build of the weapon. There we go. Anyway, enjoy the video. Hello, my delicious people. So, we're starting this in a simulacrum because I need to show you a mechanic that can be good, but also bad at the same time. Essentially, we're going to mark over here. Boop. And we're going to go straight to, around 6 meters. Boom. And then go a little bit closer. There we go. About 6.5 meters. You will get a situation where you actually can not cause an explosion, which is very interesting. Oh, did I put too many dudes? I probably put too much dudes. But essentially, that can be a good thing and a bad thing. I see you over there. Anyway, boop. As you can see, it does not cause an explosion. With this weapon, the explosion actually is more damage than the actual shot. So it's actually a really good idea to do this instead, as it has a 5-meter explosion, making it a pseudo AoE. Shoot the big target in the chest, and essentially you'll gather more damage over time if you were to use a ramp-up build, which I do recommend. I also recommend hunting munitions due to the fact that the direct damage is actually quite low, meaning that you're going to need to do something with slash rather than straight up damage, which is unfortunate, meaning shielded targets are probably a no-go with this weapon, which is interesting because they decided to show it against Grenier. Not Grenier, Corpus. But this is a really, really good Corpus killer since of how many slashes you can put on it. And you don't actually need a Bane mod, even though it would probably be recommended by some people, due to the fact that it can make the slashes bigger. But honestly, I don't think you would want to go so high as to where you would need a Bane mod. In fact, if you look at the build section, you actually notice that I don't have any direct damage mods. Hee-hee-hee-ha. Although, remember that your build is the build that you want to use, so if you come in here and you see something that you would want to remove or add, then very much we would want to do so, as it is your build. And I don't want to stop you from doing what you want to do, as I'm just here to show you a way to learn how to build this weapon. So, yeah, let's get into it. Oh, also, I forgot one more thing. Can it take out acolytes? Yes it can. And when it does take out acolytes, you gotta remember that you have to be far enough to hit them in the chest with it, while also making sure that you are capable of getting the explosion. And it's actually really recommended to run through a bunch of enemies so you can gather your stonks for your other mods, due to the fact that you're probably going to need them in order to actually take it out. And yeah, there's that. But yeah, I'll leave you with the build section, and we will get into the rankings, which I have very much been starting to like. So yeah, let's go. Yeah. Alright, for this build, critical delay to get the crit chance to 102%. Every single crit that I do will have a 30% chance to get a slash proc, due to hunting munitions. We'll also be lowering the fire rate, but the fire rate is actually quite large, so it has barely any effect. If anything, it is a lot more easier to handle. We have galvanized chamber and vigilante armaments to bring the multi-shot to a nice little maximum of 3, or I think it was a maximum of 4. Yeah. So 4 missiles they'll be firing at maximum stocks. We'll be using a hammer shot to get the the critical damage and the status chance a little bit higher, as the status chance only reaches 54%, but because it is considered a bullet hose that also hits twice per shot, then that is fine and dandy. It's actually a little bit high, but that's a good thing due to the fact that we do want to get as much viral procs as possible. We would to be doing even more powerful slash procs. We'll be doing Rhyme rounds and Magnet Force for 120% more status, as well as 120% more viral to get the viral to 63, which is a very nice, but keep in mind, I'm not going to be using too much of a mid-max on this, just because the reason why is because slash procs that are forced are based off of the total damage, meaning that we will be having the total damage decide how high the slash proc is, especially since the slash is only 10, so it is probably a little bit redundant to make the slash procs as high as possible. We'll also be using Vital Sense to make the crit damage 8.4%. Keep in mind, I currently have a drone on, but I will be taking it off for the demonstration. We'll also be using Merciless, which will provide us more reload speed, as well as, what is this? Plus 30% more damage for 4 seconds. That stacks up to 12 times, which I'll be putting a little bit of math to show you how much total damage I'll be doing. Especially since this will be replacing a damage mod. Alright, for today's ranking, we're gonna have to do a little bit of a thing where I ask you to remember that this is completely subjective, because I'm gonna say a little bit of a kind of cringe for some people. This is a 2 out of 5. The reason is because it kind of sort of doesn't have that much damage, and keep in mind, even though I'm not a fan of putting hunter munitions on this thing, it's not just because of the hunter munitions. The hunter munitions is based off of total damage, but it has very small total damage. And because of that, if it's not an armored target, like if it's a shielded target, it kind of sort of just doesn't do enough damage to take them out. In my experience, I've run out of ammo trying to take out a shielded target that was a Guardian Eximus, which is very unfortunate, because the Guardian Eximuses also increase the survivability of everything around them, which made it to where it didn't have enough damage. Not only that, but its ammo is very, very small. And because of that, it's not very easy to wield, right? Not only that, but it has the gimmick, which, keep in mind, gimmick doesn't always mean bad automatically. But what its gimmick is that it makes it to where you can essentially be too close to cause any significant damage. This is not very great. Essentially, it has 3 things that I don't like, so it's 3 points taken away from it. So unfortunately, for those of you who like this weapon, I would like to apologize, but this is getting a 2 out of 5. So that doesn't mean that's not a good weapon. Actually, probably, yeah, I will have to back up on that. It is actually not that good of a weapon. It's an okay weapon. It's not bad, it's okay. But, that's neither here nor there, and I'm done with the ranking. So I hope you managed to learn something from this, or learn whether or not you want to get this weapon and keep this weapon. But, yeah, so if you want to use it, you can use it. I'm not going to stop you, because, yes, to each their own in a good way. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. have wonderful, wonderful nightmares. I will see you in them. And remember, if you're watching my content, I know you're into it. Honey, honey. Mwah.
アイリーのスケベマンコに入れたくなった